Good morning. It's early December here in north central Arkansas. Uh, the title of this Doc Tom talk, which may end up being somewhat lengthy, is Suppose, Just Suppose. And I'm going to read this as I wrote it as an essay, so I'll be reading this essay and probably stopping along the way to comment. But I'm going to begin reading now. Suppose, just suppose, for the sake of the argument, that evil does exist. What if satanic forces are real and can be embodied in human form? That evil, like some virus, can infect the human mind and eventually control it. What if some humans are not really humans at all, but rather a sentient life form pretending to be human, a reptilian, and that's in quotations, humanoid species? What if Genesis 6:6 is true, and some alien form found the wives of men calmly and bred with them, creating a crossbred being, part human, part other, a generation of giants? What if some of the real battle between good and evil is taking place in your mind? These certainly are the end times for each of us as individuals. We're going to die. These are our end times. What if all of our leaders had to be infected by the satanic virus to be allowed to become powerful? What if a normal human, once elected to high office, was chipped, and that's in quotes, by having some control mechanism implanted in his or her brain? What if all of the talking heads, both liberal and conservative, seen on the mainstream media, were also infected or chipped? What if Satan in his, her, many forms walked unnoticed among us? What if there was some satanic or alien plot designed to make humanity destroy itself? What if all major religions and all major political parties were dominated by diabolical humanoids? I guess we could call those psychopaths. What if all of our leaders were not us, but them? The horror novels of such authors as Stephen King are based on the premise that the answer to some of these above questions is yes, that is what is going on. Randall Flagg, the Walking Dude, and Mr. Trips, the virus, are good examples of this, as is King's Outsider. The Walking Dude, of course, is Randall Flagg from The Stand. Or maybe not, of course, for those that aren't unfamiliar with that work. I am sure that we all, or at least most of us, have considered these questions from time to time, found them preposterous and put them out of our minds, and moved on to the next thought. Still, if Satan does walk among us and controls the minds of many, it sure would answer many of life's most perplexing questions. Questions such as, why do we still have wars? Why do we continue to overpopulate? Why do we continue to demand that our religion is the only right one? Why do we continue to burn fossil fuels in the face of the glaring reality of global warming? Why do we pollute? Why do we so viscerally hate each other? Why do we fight to dominate nature and each other? Why have the seeds of human kindness, as espoused by all major religions, not grown in our hearts? Why is there still great poverty and human suffering on a planet as rich as ours? As rational beings, we attempt to explain and understand the answers to these questions with the information to which we have access. We assume we know most of what there is to know and use this information to answer these questions, filling in the gaps with logical hypotheses. Or we shrug and say, it is God's will. Perhaps we don't know nearly all there is to know. Perhaps there is a lot going on behind the scenes that we are unaware of and possibly are unable to perceive or even grasp. We are limited by intelligence, our personal experiences, our access to information, and perhaps most of all, by our senses. We naturally assume that if we can't sense it, it isn't there. We understand intellectually that there was a past before our birth and a future after we die. We understand that the electromagnetic spectrum extends in both directions beyond visible light. It is obvious to us that the Earth extends beyond the horizon and that stars are distant suns. But all of these facts are mental constructs separate and apart from the sensory world we live in, every instant of our lives. The sensory world is real, and we use it to construct our ideas, which comprise our mental reality. It is difficult to imagine a reality not defined by our sensory experiences. Yet, where we as humans really exist is in a spiritual realm, an emotional milieu beyond and separate from the physical universe accessible to our senses. Consciousness is the place where these two realms, the physical and the spiritual, meet. Consciousness is where I become me and you become you. For the sake of this essay, I would like to postulate that powerful forces are at work on the planet of which we are totally unaware and perhaps of which we are unable to become aware. We can sense their presence and see the effect they have on our fellows and the environment. We see the direction in which we are heading, but can't see the forces pushing us in that direction. The obvious nature of the problems we face as a species, the facts of increasing human pain and suffering, are undeniable. The steps necessary to turn this train around are equally obvious. We are headed to a place none of us want to go, yet we not only proceed, we pick up speed. The situation seems dreamlike, a place where ignorant armies clash by night. That's a quote from Matthew Arnold. What force powers this train? Who or what is the engineer? I have not found a clear answer to these perplexing questions. I have decided only that evil is real and walks among us, infecting us, our spirits, with darkness. If there is hope for us as individuals and for us as humanity, it is that we can shine the light into that darkness and begin to awaken from the trance that evil has cast upon us. I dated that little essay 9/1/2020. To continue, there is an old saying, you can't dig your way out of a hole. We can't begin to retreat until we stop moving forward. I wish the light, in quotes, spoken of above, could just be turned on with a switch and the darkness vanish. Perhaps this can happen with a spiritual revelation as in religious conversion, but this is a rare event if it ever really happens at all. Those whom I have known who have claimed such experiences to have been saved show me by their words and actions that they are, to a great extent, still wandering around in the dark. Their conversion seems to have made them better and more loving people, but plenty of darkness remains. Most of the time, if the light comes on at all, it begins as a glimmer. An admission is an admission is wrong, that things just don't add up. If nourished, not extinguished by denial, the light can become brighter and lessen the darkness. The darkness has been called wrong thought. Our wrong thoughts are firmly held. They make up much of who we think we are. It seems easier to hold on to them than expose them to the light. You might say that the light initially hurts our eyes. Turning away from it is easier than walking towards it. But the only way out of the darkness is toward the light. Understanding our fallibility that page is stuck together here. There we go. The fact that we may be wrong is essential for us as individuals to begin to shine the light, and that is in quotations, into the recesses of our minds. If we are unwilling to critically examine our beliefs and our values, we are unable to change. Most of us surround ourselves with or are surrounded by people who think and believe much as we do. Birds of a feather flock together. If we begin to shine the light onto our personal wrong thought and begin to change, we will draw apart from our fellow true believers, again in quotation marks. Estrangement from our group or clan or family or friends is very painful. It often seems much easier to just accept the status quo and go along with the crowd. In this scenario, the darkness persists, and the pain the light causes deepens the darkness. It is easy to understand why change is such a slow and painful and tedious process. We as species no longer have the luxury of moving slowly. If we are to save ourselves and future generations from great pain and possible extinction, it is by only honestly analyzing the hole we are in and determining the best way out and beginning to climb can we hope to get out. If we hope to get out. Pretending that the hole doesn't exist or that some magic may transport us out of the hole is pure folly. The darkness in our minds, our wrong thought, is what keeps us in the hole and prevents us from climbing out. Our only real hope lies in shining the light into that darkness. Light is the only cure for darkness. Thus saith this Tom Talk. Tom Talk. Thank you.